everyone, I am Maddie, your celebrity news host, and obviously your favorite celebrity news host. Am I right? 'Cause I better be right. I'm right? Right? Anyways, today we're going to be going way back, and when I say back, I mean way back into Helen Keller's times, which was in the 1800s. Today we're going to be learning all about the inside scoop on Helen Keller. And with this being said, today and only today is when you are going to be learning about Helen Keller. So stay tuned. Helen Keller was born in this home on June 27th, 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama. At only 1 year of age, Helen Keller lost the ability to see and to hear due to brain fever, or what doctors called back then brain fever. This meant that she became deaf and blind.
Now, being blind would be similar to this right now. Darkness. Can't see anything except maybe those imaginary pictures that come in your mind sometimes, and only you can see them. But imagine Helen Keller or any person at a young age going through, the struggle of being blind. They're young. They want to match, voices to the faces to learn. And they hear voices, but they can't, see anything. They can't see anything. But Helen Keller wasn't just blind. She was deaf. So she didn't hear anything, nor did she see anything. So then imagine Helen Keller seeing nothing like this. Darkness. Maybe, again, like the imaginary pictures, but pretty much darkness. And imagine her not hearing anything. Put yourself into Helen Keller's shoes. How would you feel? Would you feel like you were alive? Would you feel frustrated and confused? Helen Keller, at a young age, because of being blind and deaf, was often frustrated and confused and threw many tantrums because she couldn't hear or see anything.
Before Helen Keller became successful, she went through several sessions of schooling to help her to communicate while being blind and deaf. Pictured on the left is Helen Keller at about 8 years old, and on the right is Anne Sullivan. Anne Sullivan taught some of Helen Keller's very first words. Anne Sullivan's process of teaching Helen Keller her very first words was by spelling out the word in Helen's hands and then putting the word or the object into Helen Keller's hand to fill it. So she would spell it out in her hand and then put the object that she spelled out in the hand as well. After Helen Keller got taught tremendously, she then attended a school for the deaf in New York and worked on improving her communication skills. She was determined to attend a college. This picture shown above is a picture of the school that Helen Keller attended. This is the school for the deaf that is located in New York. With Helen's hard work and determination on communicating while being deaf and blind, she ended up graduating college and becoming an instructor at Harvard University. Because of Helen Keller's determination and accomplishments, she was appointed Counselor of International Relations for the American Foundation of Overseas Blind. Helen traveled to 35 countries on 5 different continents between 1946 and 1957. As Helen Keller's life slowly came to an end, she impacted the world in several ways. Helen participated in many campaigns to raise awareness, money, and support for the blind. She helped the less fortunate, and she gave speeches about helping others with disabilities. Helen also wrote an autobiography, The Story of My Life, which was used as the basis for the TV show The Miracle Worker, and was also developed into a Broadway show. Helen received several medals and an election to the Women's Hall of Fame in 1965, shortly before she passed. Helen Keller died in her sleep on June 1st, 1968, at 87 years old. As sadly this news session is coming to an end, I'd like to end it off with a few similarities and differences that Helen Keller and I have, and also that you guys have. So before I start this session, you can email me at Maddie99 Chicken News Celebrity News 99 Chicken 81 9901 2050 Chinese Food at gmail.com and send me your similarities and differences between Helen Keller and yourself. I would love to know, and they may be on this next news session. But moving on, I would like to explain to you guys my similarities and differences between Helen Keller and I. To start off, Helen Keller was a philanthropist, which meant she helped people. She helped the less fortunate. She helped everyone. Everything that she could get a hand on, she would help. I love helping people. I love donating. I just love helping people because it makes me feel good. And I would love to help people even more. Maybe even head over to Cuba and build a shelter for the homeless. So I would love to do way more than I do already. And that is how I'm like Helen, because I love to help people. Also, I am sort of a writer, you could probably say. Helen Keller was a writer. She wrote The Story of My Life, an autobiography. And I enjoy actually writing stories. Now, I don't get them published. I'm probably never going to get them published because there's a lot of thoughts that go into these stories. But I like writing as well, and I like to do it when I want to, kind of like she did. When she wanted to, she wrote her autobiography. And I enjoy writing, and just like Helen Keller, we both share an interest in writing, and just kind of like writing, books. Even though mine is not going to get published, we still like to write. So that's another similarity. Another similarity me and Helen Keller have with each other is that she succeeded by trying hard and with determination. She was deaf and she was blind, and well, it was very hard for her to succeed because she had to work really hard to understand and communicate with others while being deaf and blind. Even though I am not deaf and blind, I do have a similarity with her because I play the piano. And playing the piano takes a lot of hand skills. And I will admit that some of the songs will get really hard and frustrating, and sometimes I just want to throw my book out the window and just leave town and go on a shopping trip and forget about everything, but I don't. I am determined, and I want to be maybe the next Beethoven. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, I want to succeed, and I want to succeed in piano playing, and with my determination, I continue to play. Even though the songs get harder and harder, more difficult, I continue to play, ask questions, concentrate. Just like Helen did. Helen concentrated, she understood, she really focused to do what she wanted to, and then she ended up becoming what she wanted to do. She became, an instructor and stuff like that, but I have determination just like Helen did. Along with similarities, Helen Keller and I have a lot of differences. The first difference is that Helen Keller was an educator. She was an instructor, and I have no interest in becoming a teacher or an educator whatsoever. I'm just not interested in that, and I would probably most likely never going to take that role or that job position. So that's, one of the differences. And another difference is that Helen wrote an autobiography. I do not want to write a biography about myself. As much as I love myself, I don't think I would ever write an autobiography about myself. But I would like to put all my thoughts and put them into a book. Maybe publish a novel or something. One of the last differences that Helen Keller and I have is that Helen Keller was a very boisterous kid. She loved talking with people, communicating. Even though when she was deaf, she always loved to communicate like this way, and she loved playing with kids her age and everything like that, even when she was deaf and blind. And I will admit to you, I was a very, very shy kid. Shy, wouldn't speak to anyone, very nervous around people, which is weird when you think about it now, because I am talking to millions of people out there, because I am a newscaster. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? So that's another difference. Like, she was, a very, like, outgoing kid, and I was very shy back then. But now, I guess I'm okay since I'm a newscaster. So that's going to wrap it up for today's news session on Helen Keller. I hope you guys enjoyed. And remember, email me all your differences and similarities. And I'll talk to you guys later on my next week's celebrity session. Peace out. Celebrity news, Maddie out. Peace and blessings. Gotta edit this out. Oh.